Hello, beautiful beings. It is so good to see you today. I'm Azrael Zemanek, and I'm coming to you live from Nashville, Tennessee. And it's another beautiful day out, and I thought it would be the perfect way to connect, especially with the theme for today is this idea of staying centered, right? And there's nothing more centering than being in nature. So I'm just gonna just check and see. I want to see. Okay, that's how I do comments. Last time when I was on here, I didn't always get the messages if people had questions or wanted to share. So they come through today. I definitely want to open into some question and answers. And otherwise, I'll make sure to comment after this video isn't live anymore. Anyways, welcome. How are you doing today? How are things going in your world? Uh, are you staying grounded? And are you feeling the connection of life? Are you feeling the connection of truth um, and of certainty in your life and in your world? Uh, for so many of us, people aren't, right? We know that there's shifts. Hi, Sarah, it's good to see you. And it is, it's a beautiful day out today. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here and to be outside. And so, anyways, where I'm opening into and what I want to open into is an idea of staying centered. As Sarah's commenting, there are lots of waves in the field, right? Even for those of us that like know and like trust in the bigger picture, right? What do we know? And everything in our sort of like physical world on some level is blowing apart. It doesn't matter what your views are, what you think. It's just sort of like life has been saying, okay, it's time to crack things open. And this has been going on for years. This is not a new thing. Um, but we're seeing it sort of come to a head now, right? Um, our jobs, our idea of how we need to function or show up in life, our sense of identity, right? Maybe some family stuff's up, right? Maybe there's some financial stuff up. Maybe there's just your plans for what you thought your life would be, right? Um, yeah, none of that is safe anymore, right? It doesn't mean we're not safe, but everything's taking on a different flow. Everything's taking on a different shift or different experience. And one of the things that I think we know right now is that we don't know, right? We don't know. And I love it because it's like truth coming to life. It's like truth coming to light because we've thought we've known for a long time, right? Our whole experience of being has been set up in this very linear direction, in this very linear direction. And as we're opening up into the 5D and beyond, as our grid lines are opening up, as things are shifting for us, we're learning that nothing is linear. We don't want things to be linear. We function on such multi-dimensional levels, right? And yet, everything that we've felt safe with in our life, or everything that we've attached to as an anchor, it's been linear, even with our chakra system, right? It's like, okay, I can go up here or I can go down, right, into the earth. Well, right now we're being asked to expand in our potential, to expand in our trust, to expand in our awareness, and to really open up. I'm going to use the word uncertainty again, to a really uncertain knowing of how things are going to be, or how things are going to come to pass. We know how things are going to be because how things are going to be is how they already are. They are alive. They are connected. They are open and expansive, and they are grounded. They are quiet, and there's a lot of movement at the same time. And that's the energy, that's the quality of life, that's the quality of consciousness, and that's the quality of truth, right? And that's where so many of us are getting pulled away, right? Pulled away, pulled into the chaos of our story, pulled into the chaos of our loss, pulled into the chaos of our grief, maybe pulled up in the chaos of like, oh, I can feel the whole beautiful radiance of life, but I don't know how to bring it down into the body and down into my space, right? Um, Feeling the chaos of what we thought our plan was and what we thought it would look like, and really having to let it go to the bigger picture, right? This evolving world and this evolving consciousness that we're in, and this new earth that many have already seen as being already here, it's going to crack the old earth apart. It's going to crack the old idea of what we thought was to be, into billion little pieces. And it's going to open things up beyond our wildest dreams. And yet, to our human mind, our human experience, and our human ego, it's not easy, right? It's not easy to always trust in it, or it's not easy to always feel connected to it or feel aligned with it. I think that's actually a big one for me. I've always felt aligned, right? Like I've always known. In the past couple years, I'm like, I don't fucking, excuse my language, but I don't fucking know anything. Um, so where do I go to go into that space of deeper connection and deeper truth? And I think that's sort of bringing it all together, is that truth, that connection, that new earth, that 5D and beyond reality that we know is here, that is coming, is here, is wanting to burst forth. The key to it is coming into it within ourselves, right? It's dropping the stories, it's dropping the identity, or attachment to identity, and it's giving ourselves not just the permission, but the invitation to follow life. And this is something I've talked about a lot in my yoga classes or in channelings that I've done before, is what if we allowed life to live through us, right? What if we let go of our plan? And what if we let go of how we thought it was supposed to look like, or what was best for humanity, or best into a higher state of being? And instead, really opened into this flow of this dynamic and creative intelligence that is so much bigger than us. And it will blow our minds. It's going to blow our minds apart. It's going to blow our egos apart because we really don't have a say. And it's not really about us being connected to purpose or us being connected to like who we think we are or showing up in a good way. It's about allowing ourselves to ride and to travel these waves, um, with as much grace and ease as possible. And that doesn't mean letting go of the shadow, right? It doesn't mean not feeling or opening into the things that are scary. We need to let that fear be transformed. We need to honor the grief, and we need to say, okay, but what is really there and what is really happening? And so, in a moment, I'll lead you through an exercise to connect with that. But I think one of the things to even start to check into is this idea of where might you be holding on, and where in that holding on are you keeping yourself from center or from deeper connection with that unyielding calm that is always here and always present? Where are you allowing your mind or your story to be caught up in the collective story that consciousness or that, the world is running? And where are you going to ground in and be the anchor for higher peace and higher awareness for the new earth, right? Because if enough of us can start to drop in beyond the story, if enough of us can start to look at our own patterns and our own systems that are running like the hamster on the wheel, what could life be like if we say, oh, yeah, I see that, but this is true and this is truth? And truth is not a construct of our mind. Truth is not a construct of what we do. It is instead a connection to the energy of life. to the flow of consciousness. And that's what's going to bust this story apart. That's what's going to bring the new earth into being. It's like stepping out into nature, right? Going on a walk in the forest or on the beach and really feeling it. It is so much bigger than us. And so, when and how do we let go of all the things that keep us from the connection with bigness, with life, with flow? So I'm going to invite you to sit with that for a moment. Let's close our eyes and take a few moments here, knowing that if you have any questions or anything you'd like to share, feel free to share them in the chat. I'll answer as I can. But really slowing your system down. And as I ask this question, just notice what comes up for you. And I laugh because the questions come from spirit. I'm like, does this even have to do with what I'm talking about? But the question that wants to come through is, where do you limit yourself? Where do you hold yourself in the patterns of the old earth and the old way? What would life be like if you knew that you were cared for beyond measure and that all your needs were met? How would things change if you stopped trying to brace or force the flow of life? Is if there's one thing we know, it's that we don't know, even if we think we know. And we know a lot, but we don't know the best way to get there. And so, in this moment, with your eyes closed, I'd like you to open to the idea of the spinning of the collective story right now, right? The consensus reality spinning around you almost like a hurricane. Maybe it's spinning even faster than a hurricane. And I'm not going to ask you to step into it, okay? Instead, I'm going to ask you to find the center and the calm. I'm going to invite you to drop an anchor linearly from your root all the way down to the center of the earth. And from the crown all the way up to the heavens. And then to open to the idea of this center space, this eye of the hurricane, starting to pulsate with a light that is moving in every direction through and from you. So we connect in our linear form, feeling the chaos of the stories spinning around you. In fact, let's take this one step further. Can you add some of your stories in the mix? I don't have enough story, maybe. I'm not enough. If I only did this, then I could do better, whatever it might be, right? What are the patterns that are holding you back from being the center? Check in with your root, drop that line down to the center of the earth, connect the crown up to the heavens, and then allow yourself to shine bright. Break the linear field. Let your light shine front, back, sides, up, down, diagonal, and notice how much brighter, notice how much bigger this light is than any storm, any chaos of our acquired minds. And taking a moment or two more and just noticing how you feel. Don't try to focus on holding the light anymore. Just notice how you feel in this moment. We're being asked at this time, and I'm really clear about this, at least with my own work, and then also in work I'm doing with clients, is we need to drop the narrative. We need to drop the narrative of our story and the narrative of the story of this world. And we need to drop into the center space. We need to let go of the linear aspect of time. We need to connect with the energy of nature and its divine flow. And we need to allow the chaos and the uncertainty and the intensity to be present without sweeping us away. Because that's just the story. It's just the old energy. It's just the old earth breaking apart. And each one of us with any awareness of these shifts, we are holding the vibration of light and we are holding the anchors for this light, for this shift in collective consciousness to take place. And it's not about you doing or being more. It's about starting to notice what and who you already are. So before we open our eyes, and it's okay if you've already opened your eyes, but before we open our eyes, I want to just take a moment and I'd like you to turn your palms up. And I'd like to just take a moment and really envision and open to this idea of what you'd like to feel like in your life, in this body. And then allowing that feeling to open to a resonance and frequency of what you would like to envision the world and the collective community of this earth feeling. can feel and see the earth beaming with light. And noticing that that light is not just moving from outside towards it, but it's moving from within it, the consciousness of earth shining. The chaos may not stop tomorrow. The uncertainty and the continued shifts and breaking down of the old ways may not finish in a week or two, but our reality is already here. The sacred reality of the new vibration. And all we have to do is remember to tune in. And the more we do, the more it feels palpable, the more we connect, the more the more it shines through us. And believe me, I have my days, right? I have my days. My days of feeling lots of things. And yet when I turn my intention through my meditation or my practice or my breath to this space of the earth, of heaven, of nature, of life, I immediately center, ground, and remember what is real. So thank you so much for listening and sharing with me today. Just a short sort of sharing that sort of wanted to come through when I was sitting into things today with the group. And yeah, I'm curious. No one might have any questions or comments, and I'm not sure I'll see them if I do. But if you do have anything you'd like to share or ask right now, feel free to type them in. And yeah, otherwise I'll see your comments in the chat later, or if you're watching this later, and I'll try to respond. Um, but just know that you're not alone, right? Know that you are definitely, yeah. Definitely not alone, right? We're all riding these waves. Coming into eclipse season, got 7 planets aligned right now. Mercury's just about to go in retrograde, and it's intense. And yeah, I'm glad it felt good, Sarah. I think we all need it, right? And I've had moments myself of like huge like presence, right? And knowing. And then I just have moments and days where it's like, oh, it's wavy. Okay, here's more waves. And it's really, again, where can I bring my attention? And I'm a feeler. For those of you that don't know me, like I am not a bypasser. I think it's important to feel, it's important to experience the emotions, and just not drown in them, right? And so I'm by no means saying, let's just turn our attention to the light. It's like, it's different than turning our attention to the light. It's like, how do we find home? How do we find center within the chaos, in the storm? And when we feel things to feel them. So yeah. So thank you so much for being present with me today. I'll be here in 2 weeks, at the same time. So I'd love to see you. And I just want to thank you, Sarah, again for the space, for bringing so many people together. It's huge, right? And yeah, it's huge. And I'm just going to comment to what you just said, Sarah, about like that the outer world is also within you and you can feel your own shadow. And it's true, right? Like the outer world is within us. And all the excuse my language, I'm swearing a lot today, but all the shit in the chaos, like it's also our own shit in the chaos. It's our own shadows, right? It's our own fears or our own greed or our own worth, right? That we move from. And so like, yeah, we're not separate. And I think it's really important to know, like, we may not agree with like some person's narrative or this person's narrative or this or that, but like, we're all, oh, do I want to say that? uh, we're all of us humans, right? All of us that are humans, we're here doing the best that we can, right? And we're all acting out these beautiful energies of consciousness and of life. And it's what we came in for. And again, who are we to say what the plan should be or what's right and what's wrong, right? And how yeah, and how it should look because it's what's happening. And so, self-responsibility, finding centeredness, doing what we can to own and work through our shit, but like also not not being carried away, right? Where can we find center and that connection to center? Um, and connecting with others, right? I think that's a big thing too. And this is part of why the group is so beautiful. I've moved to a new space a couple years ago, and I still don't have a super strong community here, although there are I have some lovely friends here. But it's like reaching out to those that you love, right? And can connect with. And maybe it is just in a group, right? And maybe it's with a dear friend that doesn't live close by, or maybe it's with one of your angels, but it's like in connection and community too. We can find that reminder, right? That we're not alone. I don't think you can see it, but there's flower blossoms that just blew by me, and that beauty of nature, right? And that temporary reminder of nature, right? Things aren't meant to stay the same. In fact, every moment is a new breath of life and who knows what it'll bring. Um, so may we all ride the waves together and yeah, just know you're not alone and we're all in it. And we are like, I think that's a big one too. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. So let's do it. Let's ground in peace and presence and trust in the process. So I love you all. So much love. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay, bye. And so good to see you, Sarah. I love you. And I have no idea how to stop this. Okay, I love you. Oh, it's my pleasure. Bye, everyone.